Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking you're sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness.
If you see TD, ask about Austedo XR.
Malcolm has been intentionally hiding himself from this family for years.
This family's non-stop antisocial behavior is toxic to me.
What is wrong with you?
You'll never know. The court sealed that report.
Well, that's our show. Have a great day, everyone. Take a little time to enjoy The View.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Schools and hospitals went on lockdown in Lewiston yesterday. Good afternoon. I'm Susan Farley. 6 people have been arrested after a raid in Waldoboro, and dozens on Indian Island wore blue shirts and walked around the island to raise awareness. Thank you for joining us. We've got more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey, Susan, happy Friday afternoon. We had some fog earlier this morning, but the good news is that has since gotten out of here, and we are looking good as we do move forward. But the rain has also gotten out of here. We had some showers and thunderstorms earlier. We've had some clouds as well, but those are going to be getting out of here too, and we'll be under a partly cloudy sky through the afternoon period. As we do zoom things out, we're going to be in a little bit of a break. There's a lot more activity well off toward the west, and that will eventually give us some more precipitation in due time. So futurecast moving forward, look at this. We're going to look nice through the afternoon period with a partly cloudy sky. Overnight, mostly clear. Some fog will also be developing. That's what this is. We'll get that out of here with some more sunshine through your Saturday. So overall, not bad today with upper 60s, partly cloudy and breezy out there with that north wind getting up to about 20 miles per hour. Overnight, upper 30s, mostly clear. Yes, we'll have some fog out there, and that northeast breeze getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And then tomorrow, low 60s, partly cloudy again, breezy southeast wind at around 20 miles per hour. Alrighty, your hourly forecast moving forward. Some clouds and sunshine at times. We'll have temperatures in the 60s, almost 70s before cooling off. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. Reports of an armed individual caused multiple lockdowns in Lewiston yesterday, including at Bates College and other area schools. Lewiston police say around 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, officers responded to an incident at St. Mary's Hospital related to an ongoing investigation in Auburn. The person being sought had fled from family members and was believed to have been armed with a firearm. Due to the hospital's proximity to Lewiston Middle School, the Lewiston school superintendent was notified, and the decision to place the school in lockdown for students attending after-school activities. Bates College and other organizations in the area also chose to initiate lockdown procedures. During the course of the investigation, Lewiston police determined that no firearm was observed by family members or any other witnesses, and the subject had made no actual threats to harm the public. A search in Waldoboro has led to the arrest of 6 people on drug kidnapping and assault charges. It happened at 80 Reef Road in the early morning hours of April 15th. According to the Waldoboro Police Department, 44-year-old Russell Harding of Waldoboro, 25-year-old Taylor Meter of Sydney, and 38-year-old Shane Jones of South Thomaston were arrested on warrants. They say 18-year-old Adonis Moral Tavares of New York was arrested for aggravated assault, kidnapping, theft, and terrorizing with a subsequent search of the same address. The Maine Drug Enforcement Agency arrested 72-year-old Glenn Harden of Waldoboro, 25-year-old Yendi Rodriguez of Massachusetts, as well as Shane Jones and Adonis Tavares again. They all face drug trafficking charges. 2 candidates vying for the hotly contested open seat for U.S. Senate gathered last night for a candidate forum to talk about Indigenous Mainers. Our Kelly Warren has the details.
And this is just a really great way for everyone to hear about tribal issues prior to the primary.
David Costello and Graham Plattner, both Democrat candidates vying for Susan Collins' Senate seat, attended a forum at Indian Island School Thursday.
We do have a unique set of circumstances here with tribal sovereignty in the state of Maine, and there's a lot of policy around that, and our relationship with the federal government is so important. So this is a really important place to discuss a lot of that with these people running to represent us.
They listened to what members of the Wabanaki tribe had to say on the issues that matter to them. Many of those discussions discussions revolved around environmental justice, equal water access, and most notably, tribal sovereignty.
We both support unequivocal tribal sovereignty in terms of, there are 574 tribes in the United States. 570 have it. The 4 tribes that don't are those 4 tribes in Maine. So that's why the issue of tribal sovereignty here is so important.
This is exactly the kind of thing that we need to be doing more of. Having politicians being very accessible to the array of communities that we are looking to serve and work with. I'm very looking forward to be able to use this as a jumping off point to have much deeper conversations with tribal leadership.
Organizers say more events bringing together candidates and Indigenous folks are in the works, including an upcoming forum in Presque Isle.
To have a forum in our homelands, in our space, with our people, focused just on our issues feels so awesome, and I'm so thankful for the candidates showing up.
On Indian Island, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Dozens on Indian Island yesterday wore bright blue shirts and walked around the island. The Child Abuse Prevention Walk is organized by the Penobscot Nation Department of Social Services and aims to raise community awareness about child abuse. The walk also helps connect locals with resources and support networks to protect children and prevent abuse.
Education, resources, prevention starts with connection, and the community walk is connection. Just the awareness of child abuse and strong families make a strong nation, and that is our foundation.
Organizers say the goal of the event is to create stable and safe environments for local children. The Brewer Police Department is asking its residents to be on the alert for a fraudulent document circulating throughout the community. Those who receive the document would see that the Cumberland County District Court is issuing a mandatory collection notice for an unpaid traffic ticket. In taking a closer look, you'd see that the state of Maine seal is incorrect. The state of Michigan is mentioned in the text, not Maine, and the number on the document goes to an unrelated business not associated with Maine.
All through the notice, it's exhausted and terminated, mandatory compliance, urgent. They're trying to pull on the heartstrings of the person receiving the flyer.
Captain Karen and Brewer Police ask that if you receive this or similar documents, do not scan the QR code, do not provide personal payment information, and do not send money. Those who believe they've been targeted by a scam should contact their local police department. A copy of this document can be found on our website. The families of the Maine DOT workers will now receive death benefits if their loved one is now killed on the job. The new law comes just days before Maine's observance of National Work Zone Safety Awareness Week gets underway on Monday. As our Alex Schley tells us, officials say there are simple things you can do to help Mainers make highways safe.
Thursday, Maine Governor Janet Mills signed legislation into law extending line-of-duty death benefits to Department of Transportation workers,
which have applied for many years to public service, public safety employees, fire marshal's office, EMS people, and corrections people.
The law is also a tribute to 2 Maine DOT workers struck and killed on the job in Waterville earlier this year.
May Jimmy Brown and Dwayne Campbell's lives be a lasting tribute to public service. And may their legacy be that we all take greater responsibility for the safety of men and women in Maine who are working on our roadways.
Under the new law, families will receive $100,000 in the event of a work zone fatality,
some of which can be advanced to families in times of need. And it applies basically retroactively to the families of Dwayne Campbell and Jimmy Brown.
Officials say on average there are more than 600 incidents in Maine work zones each year.
We all see cars go by us fairly rapidly, but when it's only a few feet, and even behind a Jersey barrier, it just feels different.
As part of this year's campaign, officials are urging drivers to see cones, think people. That message is being visually represented by a memorial of cones in front of the Safety and Performance Training Center, each one representing a Maine DOT worker who has died on the job. The Department of Transportation is also asking drivers to sign a work zone safety pledge, vowing to slow down, stay alert, and respect people in work zones. We'll have a link to the pledge on our website, foxbangor.com. In Fairfield, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, the MDI Biolab is getting $4 million for research. We'll be right back.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
Are your basement walls bowing, crumbling, or failing? Hi, I'm Tony Hafford with TC Hafford Basement Systems, all things basementy. Our Stable Lock wall system offers a patented, affordable, and permanent solution to save your foundation walls. It stabilizes, fills voids, and structurally repairs, leaving a new smooth surface. All the strength of new walls. Call TC Hafford Basement Systems today for all things basementy.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
This is Maine. Wild, real, undeniably bold, with deep roots and endless horizons. From Acadia to Katahdin, from labs to lobster boats, this is where you push limits, explore new ideas, and discover your potential. So call it grit, call it pride, call it ingenuity. Whatever it is, you've got it. This is Maine. Claim your place.
An alarming problem with a rented RV.
The horn started going off and was just blaring. It's kind of a truck horn. I called him, and he says, all you got to do is just wiggle the steering wheel and the horn will stop.
Then, a turn for the worse.
The steering wheel was just wiggling all over the place. The entire steering wheel fell to the floor. He said, well, I'm a welder. You could bring it over to my house.
I probably would have left the RV with him.
My wife told me that.
Next Judge Judy.
Friday at 5 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
President Donald Trump has announced Iran is fully opening the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian foreign minister also posting on social media the strait will remain open during the remainder of the ceasefire, which is set to expire in 5 days. There's still no word on when or if the U.S. and Iran will settle a deal to end the war. ABC's Stephen Portnoy is in Washington with more.
Iran today announcing the Strait of Hormuz is completely reopened along predetermined routes through the remaining period of the ceasefire with the U.S. President Trump hailing the news on social media, saying the strait is fully reopened and ready for full passage, and thanking Iran. The news immediately sending global oil prices down sharply and stocks soaring off the opening bell. But Trump adding the new U.S. blockade on ships heading to and from Iran will remain in full force and effect until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. Iran's foreign minister saying the opening of the strait is in line with the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. Thousands in southern Lebanon returning to their homes today despite warnings from the Israel Defense Forces. Israel agreeing to a 10-day truce after weeks of pummeling Hezbollah targets. Lebanon responding with strikes into southern Israel. Overnight, President Trump told a crowd in Nevada the war should soon be over.
I will say the war in Iran is going along swimmingly. We can do whatever we want. And it should be ending pretty soon. It was perfect.
Earlier Thursday, ABC's Rachel Scott asked the president,
if there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting, if there's no deal, fighting resume.
But just moments later, the president said he would be open to extending the truce, which expires next week.
If we need to, I would do that.
There's been no announcement on another round of talks between the U.S. and Iran, but the president told reporters Thursday he might travel to Pakistan to sign an agreement if a deal to end the war can be reached. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
As the fight over funding for the Department of Homeland Security heats up, the head of ICE announced that he will resign at the end of May. Correspondent Griff Jenkins has more from Washington.
As the battle over funding for Homeland Security heats up, there's been another shakeup at the top.
One of my top priorities is to ensure that ICE operates efficiently. I can do that by working with you to ensure we have the resources we need to keep our workforce safe.
That was Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, just hours before the department announced he'll be resigning at the end of next month, following a tenure that saw ICE ramp up arrests and expand its detention centers, issues central to the 2-month-long DHS shutdown. It's not clear if Lyons' resignation will win over skeptical Democrats, but House Republicans say they're moving ahead with a plan to fund the department through a procedure known as reconciliation.
Let's all go over and be bullies to the Senate and tell them to get off their keisters and go for it.
That's easier said than done. President Trump is asking for a slimmed-down reconciliation bill, but some conservatives are pushing to add policy priorities like the Save America Act.
I want a chunky reconciliation bill, but I'm working on it, and there are others working on it.
Democrats claim funding DHS isn't a top priority for Republicans, and they're criticizing Senate Majority Leader John Thune for not taking a more active role in negotiations.
I don't know why he's letting more deadlines come up upon him instead of getting the work done that he should be getting done all along.
Top DHS officials said Thursday the lack of funding is having a big impact on their preparations for the World Cup this summer. In Washington, Griff Jenkins, Fox News.
The financial outlook of one of Maine's largest healthcare systems was just upgraded by a major financial institution. Standard & Poor's upgraded Northern Light Health's financial outlook from negative to stable. System leadership says the upgrade means their hard work is paying off when it comes to addressing some major financial challenges over the past couple of years. The work, they improved the organization's operations and efficiency, as well as making reductions in administrative costs and services.
This represents the fact that we've worked hard as a team across the whole organization. Everybody's been involved in the work and very focused on the things we could do to improve the way we operate. And I think this represents the fact that we've been successful in starting that journey.
He stressed that the healthcare sector continues to face challenges in terms of federal and state regulatory changes as well as rising costs. He says they will continue to effort positive change and patients can expect continued access to care. The MDI Biological Laboratory in Bar Harbor is the leader in regeneration science and medicine. The institution recently secured a major funding boost that researchers say reinforces the lab's expanding role in the life sciences economy. Our Grace Blanchard has more.
For decades, the MDI Biolab has been pioneering new approaches in regenerative medicine. This month, the institution secured more than $4 million in funding from the National Institutes of Health, ensuring ongoing research initiatives.
This is critical to advance these studies and really create a strong intellectual relation with current modern biomedicine and how diseases are treated.
The latest award will support research led by Dr. Prayag Mirawala that explores how vertebrates can regenerate tissues after injury.
So this is what my lab is working to understand if they can regenerate, what is it that we lack and why can't we regenerate.
He says the funding provides their team with the opportunity to explore discoveries that could help guide future approaches to repairing human tissues.
The grant like MIRA gives us freedom to explore the science that we think is important.
The campus itself is also experiencing major growth.
So this is going to be the main laboratory space right here.
They are nearing the completion of the Neal Laboratory, which, thanks to congressional funding, will support training and development of therapeutic initiatives.
There's this big biotech boom in southern Maine in particular. To see that extend all the way up here to the MDI Biological Lab is really amazing.
Researchers hope to see their efforts continue to strengthen Maine's role in regeneration science and Maine's workforce.
Having the state behind us, having the federal government behind us, it gives us a real momentum for the future to keep going and expand.
In Bar Harbor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, there's an update on a Maine DOT project that could impact some local businesses. We'll have the details when we return.
Why should your new floor come from Carpet One? Because we're passionate about the spaces our neighbors call home. We're part of your community, and we're also part of the world's largest cooperative of independently owned and operated flooring stores. So you can be sure you'll get great selection and outstanding value with every installation. Whether it's carpet, hardwood, tile, or luxury vinyl, our experts take the guesswork out of choosing the right floor. We're your local Carpet One Floor and Home, the one store for your perfect floor.
The marathon of life can be challenging. Chores and responsibilities keep us from the things we once loved and the aspirations we set. But it's never too late to find your second wind. With an affordable, fully online program and advisors to help you along the way, you can cross the finish line when it works for you. Finish strong at the University of Maine.
This spring, invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 1010 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years. 1010. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 1010 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
When it comes to your home, go to the source. Go to R&B's Home Source in Madison. R&B's Home Source has home comfort, convenience, and savings all wrapped up in one location. From the living room to the dining room to the bedroom, we have some of the best values in furniture and bedding. For the kitchen, R&B's Home Source has top-notch appliances from fridges to ranges, even washers and dryers. And sit back and relax with quality electronics. We service everything we sell too. For your home, go to the source. R&B's Home Source, Lakewood Road, Madison.
Thousands of kids like Caroline receive life-changing care at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center each year, the only full-service pediatric program north of Portland. You can help support them by joining the Summer Classic for Maine Kids Golf Tournament, happening July 31st at Bangor Municipal Golf Course. Benefiting the Children's Miracle Network at Eastern Maine Medical Center, every dollar raised supports pediatric care today, tomorrow, and for years to come. Ready to tee up for a great cause? Visit northernlight.org/4kids to learn more and register today.
With all we've got going on every day, the last thing we need to do is be stuck in the kitchen making dinner. That's why I know you're going to love the recipe we're whipping up today, because it's done in less than 20 minutes. We begin by flattening 4 boneless pork chops until they're about a 1/4 inch thick. You see, flattening them will make them cook really fast and makes them super tender. We dredge them in some seasoned flour, and dredging is just a fancy word for coating them really well. Now we saute these in some butter, which just takes minutes. Once they're browned on both sides, we take them out of the pan and add some more butter, some chopped onions and pecans, and let that simmer for about 5 minutes or so. We finish the sauce with some honey, chicken broth, and a splash of lemon juice. At this point, all that's left to do is let this simmer before spooning the sauce over our cutlets. See, I told you this was quick. What makes these so amazing, besides how tender they are, is that the honey pecan sauce is lip-smacking delicious. So don't waste another minute. Go to your computer, tablet, or your smartphone and get the recipe for our quick-as-a-wink pecan pork so you can enjoy more time doing whatever you want. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a quicker way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Earlier this month, we spoke with the manager of Sweats Tire and Auto on the Hogan Road about a planned Department of Transportation project that the business feared would jeopardize its operations. We are now learning that the two parties are working towards an agreement. The Maine DOT's Bangor Diverging Diamond Interchange project aims to replace the oldest portion of the Hogan Road overpass. However, Sweats Tire and Auto Management said it would make entering and exiting the business's parking lot very challenging unless the DOT constructed a rear entrance for them. While it is uncertain if the DOT would honor that agreement, progress has been made. We're told by General Manager Prentice Sweat that the attorneys for both parties have been working together, with meetings still happening as of Thursday morning. Sweat says it appears the DOT is going to move forward with a slightly modified version of their original agreement that should address the business's concerns. The project is set to begin early next week. When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Furniture shopping is all about choices. Like, should I wait for a sale or get the lowest and best price every day at Bob's? Should I get my extendable Betty dining set with gray, russet, avocado, or teal chairs? Do I want my Elm real marble dining set with a natural finish or espresso finish? When I'm hosting a party on my show-stopping Beaumont dining set, what am I going to put in the hidden drawers?
Candy. Everyone loves candy. Get feature pack dining at wow worthy prices. Oh, my mom!
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stair Lifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stair Lift, the world's leader in stair lifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stair Lifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stair Lift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stair Lift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stair Lift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-732-2971 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-732-2971.
With over 30 years of experience, Patriot General Contractors knows how to get your home renovation project done right. Our certified contractors can help you build, redesign, or finish the project of your dreams. Check out Facebook page for reviews and visit patriotgeneralcontractors.com to schedule your quote today. Patriot General Contractors, redesigning your properties for the future.
Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, Susan, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. The last of the fog has since gotten out of here, so we're looking good. We've had some clouds throughout the morning and early afternoon period, so we're going to be watching for that getting out of here. But also notice we have no advisories along the coast as wave heights are down to about 2 feet. While farther out towards sea, we're at around 3 to 5 feet at this moment in time. Meanwhile, on land, we've had some rain showers and thunderstorms earlier. Those have since gotten out of here. The clouds are getting out of here too. So for the rest of the day, we are going to be looking rather nice with a lot of sunshine and a few passing clouds. Now, eventually, this will be our next system that will be moving in our direction, and that will give us some more precipitation that will soon be moving in. So Futurecast showing us a nice rest of the day and eventually a mostly clear sky. This right here will be areas of dense fog that will be moving in our direction. But Saturday, that gets out of here. Some more sunshine, some clouds. We'll have a lot more clouds Saturday night and also in your Sunday. Notice the rain on the way as we head towards your Sunday in general. We'll take the rainfall still. I thought we'd see more improvement in the drought monitor, but really it hasn't really changed all that much. So we could definitely use some more rainfall. Spread out, of course. We definitely don't want a lot of it at once. That would flood things out. But rainfall spread out would definitely help out in making dents in this drought monitor, and a lot of areas of the U.S. could use rainfall too. Other areas have seen improvement, if not maybe too much rainfall, but other spots though could definitely use some rainfall to knock down the drought. But either way though, your forecast coming up for today showing that partly cloudy sky, breezy out there, highs in the upper 60s and that north wind at around 20 miles per hour. Tonight, upper 30s, mostly clear areas of dense fog and that northeast wind at about 5 miles per hour. And then there's tomorrow, low 60s, not bad, partly cloudy and breezy out there, and that southeast wind at about 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center. Rain likely Sunday with highs cooling into the low 50s, and then mid 40s coming up for your Monday under a partly cloudy sky. Partly cloudy Tuesday with highs also in the mid 40s.
Thank you, Devin. They're a popular sight in New York bodegas, stray cats. Under current city health code laws, the felines are banned from being inside the stores, but now New York City Council member Frank Moreno is introducing a bill to protect bodega cats, allowing them to stay inside bodegas. The proposal would also create programs for vaccinations, spaying, and neutering, aiming to keep both animals and food stores safe.
Everyone in New York City loves bodega cats, but technically they're still illegal. So right now, all we're trying to do is remove New York City's outdated ban on bodega cats and replace it with a common sense approach. It also creates free voluntary programs for vaccinations and for spay-neuter so these cats are healthy and cared for.
Critics warn about health concerns and oversight. Supporters say the cats help control the pests and are part of city culture. Australian wombats have gone on display in France. The famous Beauvais Zoo in central France is unveiling 2 of the furry marsupials this month. This is the only place in the country to see them. French zookeepers built a special indoor and outdoor enclosure for them, recreating the outback landscape. It's part of a newly opened Australian-themed exhibit. Animals were transferred from a zoo and as part of a coordinated breeding program, as fewer than 10 institutions in Europe currently house the marsupials. And the Nashville Zoo celebrates a conservation milestone with the birth of a female clouded leopard cub. The cub was born on March 18th and weighs just over 2 pounds. She's the 50th clouded leopard cub born at the zoo since 1991 and the first one born this year at an Association of Zoos and Aquariums accredited facility. Clouded leopards are vulnerable to extinction because of the habitat loss, poaching, and illegal pet trade. Because of this, the cub is being hand-reared in accordance with the species survival plan. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
At the Challenger Learning Center of Maine,